Hello, welcome back on iKeysRacing. Ciao, Marco from Monza and almost from Mont-Tremblant, a circuit that I don't know racing on, I just know the name. So while it will load the continuation of the championship, we will do 3 races today. So maybe in 1 hour it will be enough to conclude the 68th season and then having an outlook on the 73, 74, I don't remember. But welcome back on iKeysRacing. Thank you for subscribing, thank you for pushing the like button. Welcome, huge like this to all the new subscribers. It is more than a pleasure to have you on board on this YouTube space where we are all petrol heads and all video games enthusiasts, especially regarding racing games. So let's go ahead. We will pay then the euro to Valerio Bertolotti to say thank you to Valerio for the creation of this beautiful collection of Formula 1 seasons. And that's it, I would say. So let's go. Restarting from our current domination, thanks to 4 victories in a row. No, Monte Carlo, then Monza, Nürburgring, and I don't remember where I've won previously, was not the Switzerland, whatever. Anyway, 4 victories in totals, 9 points for each victory, and with 3 races to go, we may hope to win the championship as Graham Hill, like it was in the real thing, in the real 1968. Team Lotus instead is sharing points also with the Team Lotus and Jim Clark, because in 68 luckily Jim Clark died in April or May, I don't remember, April maybe, during a Formula 2 race driving with a Lotus at the Hockenheim Ring, unluckily on a rainy day, and so the real points are in some way shared between the 2 teams, but it should have been a combination around 75 points between normal Team Lotus and the Gold Leaf Team Lotus that was, as said, in 68 to embrace the sponsorship from cigarettes, alcohol and so on. But let's go this way, it is just a game and just a brief of history here and there. So let's load the circuit, and while we load the circuit we go to the North American trilogy, Canada with Mont-Tremblant, United States Watkins Glen, and we will finish in Mexico at the nowadays Ricardo and Pedro Rodriguez racetrack. Talking about Canada, after the successful Canadian Grand Prix at Mosport Park near Toronto the previous year, 67, the event was given a more reasonable date in the 68 calendar, but the race was moved to exciting Mont-Tremblant circuit at Saint Jovite in Quebec, 1.5 hours northwest of Montreal. Who will be on top? Stewart, Denny Hulme, Bruce McLaren. So back a second to history, with the final 3 races being held in North America, traveling was also reduced, something that nowadays Formula 1 should maybe learn from its past, but they are not doing so. Attention now centered on the battle of the World Championship, with Graham Hill still ahead after his early season successes with 30 points by Jackie X with 27, Jackie Stewart 26, Denny Hulme 24. Lotus ran a 3rd car for Canadian star Bill Bracke, while Dan Gurney ran in a 3rd McLaren, having given up with his Eagle Westlake program. Matra Sport expanded to a 2-car operation, with Jean-Pierre Beltois being joined by Henry Pescarolo, and with Jackie Stewart running alongside Johnny Servo's Kevin in the Matra International entries, for a total of 4 Matras on this track, on this race. In qualifying, Jackie X hopes of the world title ended when he crashed after his throttle stuck open. He suffered a broken leg. Pole position for Jochen Rindt, driving a Brabham, the new Repco engine finally beginning to work. Second position for Chris Amon on a Ferrari, and Joseph Firth, Rob Walker, Lotus alongside on the front row. I do remember, for myself more than for you, back then there were 3 drivers in the first row, except for Monte Carlo. Gave McLaren a 1-2 victory with Rodriguez grabbing 3rd for BRM. The result put Denny Hulme and Hill equal in points in the World Championship with 2 races to go. That's it for the race. The qualification is finished, a bit different than from real time. Let's go to the warm-up. Fine. Let's go to race. And we can load maybe 10 laps just to save a bit what is the weight, or maybe not, I don't know. Let's stay with 11. Let's go to race. Not really a good start, but enough to get rid of some slow contenders. Maybe touching the grass is not a good idea. Is my front wing? Who knows? We will discover it in a couple of high-speed curves. And we must raise the sound of the Lotus engine because it's not enough. Next race. P7 maybe, yes, behind Beltois. I needed the draft of the others because I've never raced here. I don't even know if it is a correct setup for the track. At least with this game you can anyway give a sort of GP Legends behavior to the car. If you hammer the front end very rigid and then you play with the anti-roll bar, the rear anti-roll bar as strong as you can, as hard as you can. Duel with Se3. Yes, we have definitely more speed and maybe less downforce while cornering. Stewart retired, good. Here was the braking point. We'll start this out with the Honda. P3 so far. No, touched Danny Harm, sorry. Not learned yet of the track, but it's okay. Yes, I definitely need anyway a race in front. And who better than Jackie X? Even if in this lower part of the track I have a bit of advantage, I feel. long and wide. Yankee answer Hane retiring. Two laps to go. P1. There is also the steering wheel semi-destroyed. Doesn't stay straight. On straights. Okay, not very difficult the track, but for a fine tune I would need more time, to be fair. Bruce McLaren, originally second, is out. Tomorrow we'll learn this racing line. Last lap. Ooh, too wide. Brian Redman in front, overlapped almost. Someone else retired. I've lost the name. There's an engine blowing up. Let's stay far from a possible retirement. "10 seconds over Jack Hicks shouldn't be enough to complete the lap. Oof. Nothing. Next year I will learn the track. But is enough to clinch the victory? Yes! So we leave in 14 minutes, not bad. The front wing was destroyed thanks to my early attitude after the start, so maybe was also something to fix, absolutely. And I must apologize if you hear a sort of background noise, is the rotating fan, given that in Italy we are under 35 degrees daily, and even like now in the last moments of the afternoon, at the beginning of the evening, we have 30 degrees Celsius running on our shoulders. So sorry for the maybe bad noise behind in background, but Graham Hill wins also the Canadian Grand Prix, Jack Hicks, Danny Hulme third, Joseph Furt, Pedro Rodriguez, Jim Clark. Let's go to see points. Well, I would say we have almost clinched the title, because with 9 plus 9 points available in the next two races, we need just 4 points, so P3 as an average, to clinch the title. Definitely 15 points with 2 wins for Richard Atwood. I don't think he will win 2 races in a row, but let's see. Constructor, obviously, as a ranking, still has the Owen Racing organization on top, together with the Team Lotus for Jim Clark, and not only. Let's go ahead. Watkins Glen, I love this track. We have seen it together with Around the World in 24 Hours Season 1, running a Ford Probe, IMSA GTP if I'm not wrong, with this old version. Anyway, let's go ahead. Fine, so there were some additions to the usual F1 field at the small Watkins Glen circuit in upstate New York, with Team Lotus running a third car for Mario Andretti, Grande Mario, who had practiced but not raced for the team in Italy, and Bobby Unser, who has suffered a similar fate at Monza in the second BRM. McLaren again ran a third car for Dan Gurney, while Ferrari replaced Jackie Hicks with a broken leg at the Canadian Grand Prix with Derek Bell, another hero of mine. So Bruce McLaren, Pedro Rodriguez, Jackie Hicks, John Surtees, Danny Hulme, Jim Clark, the top 6. But let's see in reality what happened. Jackie Stewart and Graham Hill untroubled at the front, so John Surtees took third place after all. The result was a boost to Graham Hill, who moved to 6 points clear of Danny Hulme in the World Championship race, although Stewart's win put him only 3 points behind Hill. So it would be a 3-way fight for the title in Mexico a month later. But let's go to see what will happen here. We will run also the warm-up, prepare for the race. Let's go to see how many laps. It will be a race of 10 laps. Yes, maybe we can keep the 14 laps, is okay. I do prefer to not risk to arrive to the end without fuel. Okay, volume fixed, maybe 50% engine, 30 sound effects volume overall. It should be all ready. Let's go. Okay, names present, first gear. Ooh, someone killed Brian Redman. No, started. Let's learn the track also with this game, because I know the track layout, the shape, but not the behavior. Hey, come on. I'm the world champion. Come on. There's a crash in front, maybe. Yes, Pescarolo died. Okay, nothing different so far from GTR 2 Power and Glory version. Yes, maybe third gear here. Yes, come on, more or less is the same. Let's try to be consistent. P26 a bit. Lucien Bianchi out. Moser is lower than us. Let's get the slipstream from John Love. Also Bobby Ansel can be an help. Maybe next lap directly in fourth gear. Leave the guardrail. In reality, Derek Bell with Ferrari. Touched with I don't know who. Ooh. Okay. Nobody will save Pescarolo, unluckily. And luckily it is just a game. Even if the giant Henry Pescarolo not only won 4 races but also was absolutely a master to survive to so many troubles in his life that really, when I see nowadays people crying for not having the last iPhone or Samsung Galaxy, I do cry myself. P17, 7 laps to go. We should have enough fuel to cope with the race, hopefully. Next time we will get the fourth gear for this section. Sartis and Courage in front. Forcing the third gear. Ooh, this one has the rear transmission completely. Did you see? Completely raised up for a contact for sure. Nice graphic, even if I would ask how a transmission can work that way. Hania retired. So let's try this experiment. Fourth gear. With maybe a better line. And fifth gear just when we are here. Nice. a group of 10 cars in front, maybe. Jackie Oliver, then Gurney. Let's do in fourth, so we don't change gear while exiting. P9 and 3, 6, 7 cars in front, maybe could mean to score points here and there. A duel with Jackie X externally. He passes on grass. Good. The simulative aspect of this game is absolutely stunning. But we pass outside before the straight. Jackie X for P5. Come on, let's go to try to win this race. So to clinch the world title and then Jackie X outside, grande. Bobby Hansen retired, we pass Stewart internally, Chris Amon externally with less wings and more top speed, Danny Halm externally with the McLaren. Now only Pedro Rodriguez between us and the victory. Let's go for it, 3 laps to go. Pierce Courage very slow in between. Yes, more speed for the Lotus. Let's run away, 2 laps to go. This one and then full 9, full 10th laps. Obviously I'm joking about the simulative aspect. It's a game comparable to GTR 1 and 2, Power and Glory, R Factor, Automobilista. The easy engine is the same, here is calibrated a bit different. Obviously to readapt the original F1 Challenge 99 2002 long carrier with a driving module compatible with the 50s, with the 60s and so on. Fair enough to be played. Don't expect for the 60s to have a carbon copy of GP Legends, but still it's very fun. Obviously played at this level, contenders around 90% or 80, don't remember. It's not too difficult once you have a decent car setup. This car setup in particular has been forced to replicate a bit the swing of those years. And in Italy we have a sentence that says a rainy wedding is a lucky wedding. Then it is applied to anything else. So for example, a soccer match under rain is a lucky one. Let me say rainy race, lucky race, or rainy race, lucky championship, because in 3 corners, if we win, we are going to clinch the title with 1 race left on the calendar. And apart from my initial season where I struggled a lot apart Monte Carlo, we are winning the 5th race in a row, something like that. So once you get used to the driving module, it's, I want to say easy, but you can play with it. And so yes, let's escape. It will go automatically. My teammate Jackie Oliver, did you see, was crashed. So Hill, Eamon, Halm, Rodriguez, Stewart, Bruce, McLaren. Fine. Next page. It's world title like in real life, even if in real life the technical matter of the ranking was solved in the Mexican Grand Prix, but even if Richard Atwood should win the next race, he will go to 39, and with 54 we obtain the title. Jackie Hicks 28, Chris Amon 27, Pedro Rodriguez 26. Constructor will be not, I mean, maybe a Team Lotus will win, but not us against the Owen Racing organization, but I will try to win also the Mexican Grand Prix. So let's accept it. Here we are in a modern manner. We have seen together this layout with around the world in 24 hours, season 1 with the Carrera Panamericana. The last video played that I recorded at the beginning of 23 was January or February, I don't remember, January maybe. No, was the beginning of January, because then at the end of January, before leaving Italy for the Daytona 24 hours Rolex, I remember I did publish the first episode of the season number 2. So the track more or less is known, but let's go to see what will happen now that the title has been won. The final round of the championship in Mexico was moved back 2 weeks because of the 68th Mexico City Summer Olympics, having taken place only 3 weeks previously. When the F1 teams finally arrived at the high-altitude Magdalena Mixhuca Park circuit in Mexico City for the final round of the World Championship 4 weeks after Watkins Glen, Graham Hill had 39 points, Jackie Stewart 36, Danny Hulme 33. Okay, Stewart, Hulme, McLaren, Hicks, Rodriguez, Siffert. All the contenders were overshadowed in qualify by Swiss Joe Siffert in a Lotus 49 prepared by Rob Walker. He took pole position with Chris Amon Ferrari second. Graham Hill and Danny Hulme shared the second row, while Dan Garney in the third McLaren was alongside John Surtees Honda on the third row. Jackie Hicks was back in action in his Ferrari after missing the US Grand Prix because of a leg injury, but his race was also short-lived because of an ignition failure. Jackie Stewart took the lead for several laps, but Hill passed him again, while Danny Hulme ran third until his car began to handle oddly and Siffert overtook him. It was now a straight fight between Hill and Stewart, although Siffert decided to get in on the act and took the lead on lap 22. So it was left to Jackie Oliver to take third place behind Hill and Bruce McLaren. Stewart ended up back in 7th position, but was Graham Hill, world champion for the second and last time in his career. Let's go to see. The race will be of 6 laps. I'm loading 10 laps. Let's go to 9. Fine. And that's it. So let's go to race the last appointment of the 68th season, and also for the first time, because if I'm not wrong, I did miss to win the championship in 1950, arriving second maybe. I don't remember if in the 58-59 season I was successful enough to win the championship, but anyway, let's go to do our celebration on track. Already an engine giving up is Pescarolo with the Matra, luckily. A beautiful sequence of corners here in Mexico. Just let's stay far from... Ooh, sorry to Atwood. From the semi tires used to limit how much you can cut corners. Let's go to the Peraltada, maybe in fourth gear, suppose. Yes, maybe. Down to P13. Much more speed, luckily. Less grip, but who cares? Let's try outside this time. Not a good move. Definitely not the quickest here. I'm not sure I'm going to win this race, guys. So luckily we have clinched the title in the previous race, because I have just top speed, nothing else. Ooh, Jim Clark out. No, maybe he's in the race again, sorry. Here we are. And yes, maybe I have to cut more and follow less the corner ratio. Who touched me? Atwood. He's somewhere. Bobby Answer again retired. Yes, definitely you have to cut corners without shame. Let's try to enter full throttle and then use the 5th gear with the torque to exit. Maybe not a good idea, who cares? Touch something, guardrail or whatever. 2 laps to go, this one and the next one. Almost killed Se3. Here it's just a matter of downshifting, not using the brake. Sorry for Jackie. Duel with McLaren. Bruce. Externally on Jackie X, not maybe too optimist. Yes, you have almost to violently rape your car, and you are quick also while cornering. And now, like in real life, just Jackie Stewart and Graham Hill in the lead, but we have more speed, so let's go away. Hopefully winning also this race in memory of Graham Hill. Ooh, too much. Too optimistic. Out of the ideal line, but we cross the track. Not the track. The, how do you call it? Start-finish line. Not difficult, Mark. And so yes, I think this time we did a better job on remembering a world champion, like the theme of this F1 challenge, we are the champions. Obviously nothing from my side at the level of a real world champion, but at least we have seen all the 68th season. We have won some races, we did read a bit of history related to that particular period, and as said at the beginning, it is, at the beginning I mean of this theme, it is a sort of era by era approach to have together a bit of history and beauties in our eyes for what was the original F1 history. Much better than the current present, so empty of real motorsport facts. With all the respect I have for teams and drivers, but it's another sport, it's not anymore the meaning of Formula 1. So, Graham Hill wins also in Mexico, like in real life. Second, Jack Hicks, then Jackie Stewart, Danny Hulme, Pedro Rodriguez, Jochen Rindt. Let's go ahead. We get 63 points, wow. Second, Jack Hicks at the end, 34. Richard Atwood, 30. Pedro Rodriguez, 28. Chris Amon, 27. Danny Hulme, 20. Jackie Stewart down to 17. So this is the final figure for the championship. Still, Team Lotus with Jim Clark, and I don't remember which is the teammate, but we are going to see it, won the championship ranking ahead of the Owen Racing organization. We can accept it. So that's it, because the summary goes into the possibility to do a new championship and not to resume something that has finished. So we can maybe go a bit to select which was the original Team Lotus. Let's see. Just Jim Clark, so many points for this guy compared to the Gold Leaf Team Lotus having how many drivers? 2. Graham Hill and Jackie Oliver. So how is possible? Maybe points were summed up as a double, I don't know. Anyway, another season in the books started with, if you remember, the Team Gunstone and John Love. That was the first Formula 1 car back in '68 to bring a sponsorship to pay the racing costs of a Formula 1 season. So the Team Gunstone was the Gunstone cigarette producer. As said in the part 1, Colin Chapman and Lotus were very quick to take advantage of sponsorship, signing a multi-millionaire contract with Gold Leaf still cigarette producers. But technically speaking, that season was definitely marked by the arrival of wings here in the Lotus, with almost a controlled version of wings. But if you choose, for example, a Brabham BT 26 you may see front wings and rear wings almost equal by the same solution, but then race by race the study of aerodynamics has become more and more fine-tuned into the shapes we know nowadays. At the end of the season there were still anyway strange supports for front and rear wings, but by the 69 and so on, wings have become mandatory to be not so high and attached as much as possible to the level of the car, but race by race it has become a technology finally harnessed by teams and drivers, and I would say almost finally well controlled by the sanctioning body that was running the Formula 1 category. So, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, this is the final episode number 3 for the 68th season. In a couple of days we will start together. I don't remember if the 72 or the 73. In my mind it's 72 as a new era because of the arrival of slick tires and wings at that point controlled much better than just experimenting with a sort of airplane effect for cars. So I give you the appointment there, but if you want to stay here we are going to donate €1 to Valerio Bortolotti for completing also the 68th season. As I said, the game is free, 200 gigabytes of history of Formula 1, well updated also in the recent period with a lot of improvement, corrections, fixes and so on, and obviously with the 23 running season available already.